It is electric here at the MTA Arena as we kick off the 50th episode of Thursday Night Thunder. Hi everyone, I'm your host for the night. If you haven't already, be sure to crush that subscribe button because 16 of MTA's baddest monster trucks are fixing to turn some dirt up and cut these bad boys loose and see who walks away with the checkered flag here tonight. That's the man they're all after, Rich Wagner and Wild Hair. Last week, he ran out Matt Cheever over no man's land and put the Chevrolet horsepower down. He is your current Thunder champion. As we take a look at round one action and the way these trucks are matched up, we are guaranteed for some great racing right here tonight for the 50th episode of Thunder. Up first, we've got Greg Durbin in the backdraft Dodge, a two-time Thunder champion. He draws up against the Bigfoot Ford out of Pacific, Missouri. That's Mitch Brown behind the wheel, a former one-time champion. We are going to kick things off. Ford versus Dodge as we go green. Down the straight stretch now. They're over the first jump, up and over the cars. And backdraft puts Bigfoot on the trailer early. He moves on. Next up, we've got Austin Spence from the Throttle Out Show on YouTube. Be sure to check those guys out. He is in the Gravedigger out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, but he draws up against former two-time champion Megan Jagger. That's the 1941 Wheelies Whiplash. Stage now as we go green. They're up and over the first mobile, down the straight stretch, Whiplash pulling a lead, but Gravedigger comes back on her. He takes the win, moving on to round number two. Whiplash is on the trailer. Up next, we've got Colton Jeffrey Hotchkiss in the Diggers Diecast Mohawk Warrior, but he draws up against former two-time champion. This is Chris Baluk and Stinger Unleashed. He's looking to put that truck in the winner's circle tonight, but he's got to take off the new kid as we go green. They're even down the straight, up and over no man's land, and Stinger Unleashed getting wild. He moves on to round number two. Mohawk Warrior goes home. Next up, another representative out of the Diggers Diecast race team. This is Keith Cromwell and that monster lobster crustacean, but he draws up against five-time Thursday Night Thunder champion Bradley Graham's Maximum Destruction. Crustacean was close to victory last season. He's looking to try to do it again here. Max D Crustacean as we go green. They're over the first mobile. They're dead even down the straight, up and over the cars, and Crustacean takes the win over Maximum Destruction. He moves on to round number two. And up next here in round one, we've got Joshua Wells, the Outlaw, in the mega-powered car care product built for tough gunslinger. He draws up against another Ford. That's Shaggy, Matt Cheever, and Gravedigger the Legend out of Poplar Branch, North Carolina. Both Fords are staged at the starting line. Gunslinger hasn't been running too hot. As we go green, they're over the first mobile. Up and over no man's land, and Shaggy and Gravedigger the Legend will upset the Gunslinger machine. He moves on to round two. Up next, we've got John Guts in the King Crunch Chevrolet out of Spring, Texas, who had that hard rollover last week, but he draws up against the veteran James Valancourt in the UFO Ford out of Cinnamon, New Jersey. It's going to be the battle of the bow tie, taking on the Ford Oval as we go green. King Crunch pulling a lead, but UFO comes back on him, and it's going to be James Valancourt in the UFO Ford, moving on to round number two. Up next here in round one, we've got Flying Ryan Paget in the Prowler machine, a former one-time champion. He takes on the newcomer, that's Donald Price Jr. in the Son of a Digger machine, who on his first night out took that truck to victory. He lost it in week two. He's looking to gain it back here tonight, but he's got to upset Prowler. Both trucks are staged as we go green. They're up and over the first mobile. Son of a Digger pulling the lead. Prowler trying to come back, and Son of a Digger takes home the win. He moves on to round number two. Up next, we've got Rich Wagner in the Wild Hair Chevrolet, seven-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. He draws up against Lee Bailey in the Dodge Barefoot out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, who's looking to upset the veteran here tonight. As we go green, it's Dodge and Chevrolet up and over the first mobile. Dodge pulling the lead on him, but Wagner comes back in the shutdown area. He takes the Chevrolet to round number two, but Barefoot didn't cut him any slack. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for round two action. Don't go anywhere because we're going to take a look back at some past shows of Thunder. Going back to episode 1, June 11th, 2020, Rich Wagner takes home the very first checkered flag over the Bigfoot Ford, which resulted in a double rollover, but nonetheless, he etched his name in history as the first ever Thursday Night Thunder champion. Then on July 16th of 2020 in episode 6, Matthew Riley upset the Prowler Machine in the King Crunch Chevrolet, which was a wild final for its time on a short track here on Thursday Night Thunder. Matthew Riley, another member that etched his name in the Thursday Night Thunder history books in the King Crunch Chevrolet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed that flashback. We are moving on with the 50th episode of Thunder here to kick off round 2 action. You're going to see the Backdraft Dodge take on the Gravedigger. There you see Austin Spence out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. He pilots the Gravedigger machine, but he draws up against two-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. That's Greg Durbin in the Backdraft Dodge. Both trucks are staged as we wait for green. They're up and over the first mobile now, down the straight stretch. They're even up and over no man's lane. And Austin turns it over in the shutdown area. He gets it across the finish line. Gravedigger is upside down. He will take the win. He is across the finish line before Backdraft. MTA track crew and officials down there to roll Gravedigger back over. There you see some damage done to the driver's side of the truck. He hopefully isn't hurt too bad. Might be shaken up a little bit. He's going to go back to the pits, get that truck back together because they are coming back for semis in Gravedigger. Next up, we've got Chris Paluk and Stinger Unleashed, two-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. He draws up against another two-time champion. That's Keith Cromwell in that Monster Lobster crustacean. And he's looking for victory here tonight. As we go green, they're up and over the first mobile, even down the straight, up and over no man's land, and Crustacean's in trouble. He's on his side. Stinger Unleashed will get the win. Crustacean has laid it over on its side in that center jump. The MTA track crew and officials are running out there now. They're going to turn that Crustacean machine back on all 4 tires. He was giving it all he had right here in round 2, losing out to Stinger Unleashed. We'll see him back next week for week number 4 of the May season. Stinger Unleashed moves on to semis, but up next we've got Matt Cheever, Shaggy, and Gravedigger the Legend. He draws up against James Vaillancourt in the UFO Ford out of Cinnamison, New Jersey, 3-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. Matt Cheever's looking for his first victory out here tonight, but he's got to knock off UFO. As we go green, they're over the first mobile down the straight stretch. Some sick air, and oh, my hard roll for UFO. Unbelievable crash for UFO. He will get the win, but a hard rollover in the shutdown area. You see him right here coming down that straight. He has the lead. Big time air. He pogos it. Goes on the nose, end over that center jump. The MTA track crew and officials are down there making sure he's okay. They're about to roll the UFO machine back over. You hardly ever see UFO go on its lid, and oh my word, you see the damage there. UFO has had a violent crash out here on Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if he's going to be able to bring that truck back. We're going to find out. The crew's going to be thrashing on that UFO machine. You know James is not happy about this. He is going to go back and consult with his team members, and hopefully they can bring UFO back for the semifinals. What a wild crash. Well, now as we close out round 2 action, Donald Price Jr. brings back the son of a digger machine. He took it to victory lane in the first week of the May season. He's got a hard task at hand because in the other lane is 7-time Thunder champion Rich Wagner in the Wild Hair. As we go green, they're over the first mobile. Son of a digger pulling a lead. Wagner trying to play catch up, and son of a digger takes the win. Rich Wagner turns it over in the shutdown area. Son of a digger moves on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading down to the pits now of James Vaillancourt's UFO team. Them boys are down there. They're working hard trying to get that truck back. They've got some snapped sway bar ends. The body's completely tore up. 4-link bars are ripped off. Tore the front drive shaft out of the truck. And I'm sure I'm not even naming half of what's going on with that UFO monster truck after that violent rollover taking on Gravedigger the Legend. He is your winner, and if they can get it back together, he will be back for semifinal action on the 50th episode of Thunder. And here's a look at your semifinal matchups. Gravedigger taking on Stinger Unleashed, and UFO set to take on Son of a Digger. Up first, we've got Austin Spence out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, and the Gravedigger. He draws up against 2-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. That is Chris Paluk in Stinger Unleashed, looking to add title number 3 here tonight. But he's got to knock off the Digger as we go green. They're over the first mobile. Stinger pulling a lead on him up over the car. And Stinger Unleashed moves on to the finals here on Thursday Night Thunder. Gravedigger's on the trailer. And next up to close out semifinal action, Son of a Digger out of Poplar Branch, North Carolina, Donald Price Jr. behind the wheel. He draws up against James Vaillancourt's UFO, who is not at the starting line. And we are going to head down now to the UFO pit area and see what's going on. And it looks like they are still working on that truck, and they are not going to make the call. So Matt Cheever and Gravedigger the Legend's going to come back and take on Donald Price in the son of a digger machine. He's up at the starting line now. Both trucks are getting lined up. Gravedigger Legend heading up there now. You see him staged at the starting line. Son of a Digger's stage. Gravedigger the Legend stage. Who moves on to the finals to meet Stinger as we go green now. Up and over the first mobile. Son of a Digger with a huge lead. He's up and over the cars. And Son of a Digger moves on to the finals. Gravedigger the Legend was coming for him, but no match for Son of a Digger. He's in the finals, and ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere because we'd like to take another look back at past events and past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder. We hope you enjoy. We want to take you back now to Thursday Night Thunder episode 21 on October 29th. You could call it an ending to remember as Black Stallion tried to chase down Backdraft and lands on top of him to close out that episode of Thunder, and it was Greg Durbin's first win in the Backdraft Dodge. Now moving on to episode 28, December 17th, Joshua Wells and El Toro Loco, John Guts and Bigfoot, who had the win, but hits the tires in the center of the track. Joshua Wells comes back and takes home his first checkered flag. Then as we take a look at our last highlight, there you see James Valancourt in the UFO machine. He took on Bob Hegan in the Gravedigger as we got set to go green. And just watch the sick air they get. And Gravedigger turns it over across the shutdown area. He did walk away with the win. Bob Hegan out of Digger's Diecast race team tore the Gravedigger up for the fans that night. He walked away the winner over UFO. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we close out the 50th episode of Thursday Night Thunder, it is now final time. Donald Price Jr., a one-time Thunder champion. He's looking for number 2. But speaking of 2, he's got two-time Thunder champion Chris Baluk and Stinger Unleashed in the other lane. Who's it going to be? Stinger Unleashed, Son of a Digger. It's showtime here on Thunder. Down the straight stretch. Now they're even. Up and over the cars, and what a race. Son of a Digger will take the win over Stinger Unleashed to close out the 50th episode of Thunder. Going back now to the MTA replay, you see both trucks are dead even down that straight, even through no man's land. And you see Stinger hits that center jump, and that killed his momentum. Son of a Digger takes the win. Congratulations to Donald Price Jr. on being a two-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. And now we're going to take a look at the points as week 3 of the May season closes. Son of a Digger leads with 48, followed by Wildhair with 36. And as we look at the latter half of the bracket, Bigfoot and Backdraft with 18 points, followed by Barefoot and Gunslinger with just 15 points. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the 50th episode of Thursday Night Thunder. Be sure to crush that subscribe button. I thank you guys every day, and I'll catch you down the road. See you next week.
Standing tall up in victory lane, I done brought the pain and now they screaming my name. Yeah, everybody saw me rock the place. Now there's flashbulbs are popping and mics in my face. Always giving the crowd what they need. Now they're wearing my shirts front row to nosebleed. Now the crowd forms is what it's all about. Signing autographs until the lights out. Yeah, it's about